not sure if we're going to hit every single video that we have on our list, because here, let's open up the list.
Stream
YouTube
elements.
ideas, Google Sheets, document.
Tyler Shepard 223 is now live. Streaming Just Chatting. Horror live stream a review of true crime documentaries.
Grouping focused. For scary horror live stream a review of true
Look
crime
at
documentaries
those.
A1.
Look at all of these.
For scary infamous Halloween true crime cases by Let's Read. The disturbing case of the horror core killer document. The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. When an insane teen killer makes detectives snap by explore with US 10,029,6.
Alright, so this, I know for a fact that we're not going to be able to hit all of them today, but there might be one that I'm really interested in. I'm really interested in this
The
one.
horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. on Gwysit by Coffee House Crime 498,001.
The horrors of the ice casket killer. That one sounds most interesting, but I also have 4 more video that has just 4 of them. Which one's the shortest? Let's see.
The disturbing case of the horror. 4 scary infamous Halloween true crime cases by Let's Read. 208,708 views 3 years ago. 1 hour, 3 minutes A2.
That's 1 hour and 3 minutes.
The disturbing case of the horror core killer documentary by EWU Crime Story Time 4,123,060 views 1 year ago. 35 minutes A3.
That's 35 minutes.
The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. on Gwysit by Coffee House Crime 498,122 views 5 days ago. 23 minutes A4.
23 minutes.
When an insane teen killer makes detectives snap by explore with US 10,623 views 2 months ago. 1 hour, 26.
1 hour. Perfect. The one I wanted is the shortest one. Let's start with that one because that one is the shortest. And then we'll go in length of time. How does that... That sounds like a good way.
The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. on Gwysit by Coffee House Crime 400.
So the title is The Horrors of the Ice Casket Killer. Let me have it repeat it one more time.
The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. on Gwysit by Coffee.
The case of Ankowitz. I'm butchering the fuck out of that name. Ankowitz, whatever. Ankowitz. They'll tell me how to pronounce it because I know the screen reader butchered the absolute fuck out of that name. But let's watch this. So I'm going to take this.
Copied selection to clipboard. Group. New tab Google Chrome.
YouTube.
210. Why? Outlook.com. Live. Verified. Clickable dialog. Main landmark clickable horror live streamer.
Oh, cool.
Dialogue.
We're right at the top. Look at
Banner
that.
landmark. Banner landmark.
Take that.
Search combo box.
Enter.
Blank.
Bitch.
Blank. 220.
There we go.
Clickable banner. Main landmark clickable. The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apa K. on Gwysit by Coffee House.
Apa K.
Horrors of the cat serial killer. Bar. The K of Apa K.
Apa
Ongwysit.
K. Ongwysit. Yeah, I butchered the fuck out of that name. But let's alright. So there's that. Let's begin. And then after that, we're going to take a quick intermission while I go eat my Hot Pocket.
Mainland.
Of course, this
Dialogue. Click. Play. K. Click button. Verified.
With a murderous father and a mother on the run, Apachai Ongwysit was a troubled and neglected child left to
Candyman said IAMTLN.me.
K.
Oh god. Hang on. Hang on. We're turning off fucking Discord. Yeah, let's turn
Studio.restream. Phone link column 3. Number the pigs writing room. The Gregory's pick.
Yeah, close
220.
that. There we go. Wait. So Discord kind of interrupted it. Did he seriously just say that this person's mother was on the run from a father who was also a murderer when this person was a child? Oh shit, that's not good. Let's hear that again. Was that true?
gave him, and as he grew older,
Speak type
he would
characters
follow
off.
in his father's foot. That Apachai Ongwysit was with a murderous father and a mother on the run. Apachai Ongwysit was a troubled.
Oh, Jesus. God.
and neglected child left to his own devices. That torment would never leave him, and as he grew older, he would follow in his father's footsteps to become a violent killer. Due to his father's previous actions, the Onguizet residence already had somewhat of a reputation as the House of Horrors. But neighbors had no idea.
Dude, what the fuck did the father do? If this is about the son, what the actual hell did the father do?
That these rumors were in fact shadowed by reality. And as it turns out, dark and terrible stories were still happening behind closed doors. Today, we're diving into the so-called Bankei House of Horrors. We're inspecting the strange man known as Apachai Onguizet, and we're looking at least one of his many victims. But first, we must learn some horrendous truth.
At least one of his victims? How many fucking victims did this dude have? Jesus Christ. This... I don't think this is in the United States. This cannot be, because I watch a ton of true crime that come from the United States. This sounds like Eastern Europe. Let's find out.
Welcome back to Coffee House Crime, folks. My name is Adrian, and today we're looking at the dark...
Hi, Adrian! We love you!
case of Apachai Onguizet, also known as the Ice Casket Killer. If there ever was a place haunted by murders, then this definitely is one of them. With multiple deaths spanning several decades, it is no wonder why people see this place as the House of Horrors. Before we begin, and just to let you know that Coffee House Crime is all about true crime, strange and chilling stories, and the best way to support me is by subscribing to the channel. So, if you like darkly fascinating stories...
You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna hit that sub button, dude. How the fuck have I not heard of this channel before? Where's that sub button? Hang on.
Dialogue.
Where's that sub button?
One V. Click. Make play. Next. Click auto plays. Settings menu. Mini player. Theater. Play. Full. Clickable. Subscribe to Coffee House Crime. Button.
Yeah, let's go.
Button Coffee House Crime. Button current setting is personalized. List clickable all menu item. 220.
Give me more. I already like this channel, and we haven't even delved
Dialogue.
into it yet. There we go. Where's this? Hang on.
Click. One V. Click. Make play. Next. Click auto. Set mini. Theater. Play on full screen. Clickable VID. Clickable. Monetized. Clickable like this video. Clickable dislike this video. Toggle button not pressed. Clickable like.
Let's give this video a like right there.
25,108. Clickable share button. Clickable button cancel. Share. Click 95. Heading left. List button embed. Click. Edit read only. A clickable button copy. Edit read only selected HTTPS.
So since we're watching this one, I'm
YouTube
gonna
ideas
head
Google
over here.
The disturbing case. The horrors of the ice casket serial killer. The case of Apachai Onguizet. Aforesaid to HTTPS/
There we go. All right. So at the end of this, I will be posting this link in the chat, so that you can watch this without my commentary, and let them know that I brought you over here.
Red Circle Live Studio. Restream document. Dialogue. Edit read only HTTPS.
All right,
Button share.
There we are. All right, let's continue.
Dialogue. Banner landmark.
stories or simply want to see coffee rain from the sky, please hit subscribe now. And also, if you like to drink coffee while watching these videos, then please check out Classified Coffee, it's my very own blend. And now, with that said, please grab yourself a coffee, pull up a seat and get ready for the deep dive.
My guy, I love coffee, but
8:20
it's
p.m.
8:20 p.m. on a freaking Wednesday night. Oh, Tuesday night. Oh, my bad. Thank you, brain. Tuesday night. Yeah. Little late to be having a cup of coffee. And yet I have a soda over there. Oh well, fuck it. But yeah, let's continue with this.
This is the case of Apachai Onguizet.
Oh, I love the bell. Hi, welcome to Murder.
Sawadee krap,
Oh,
folks, and
hi, welcome to Murder Bucks. Please take a seat, or we'll kill you if you don't like your order.
welcome to another story from Thailand. Well known as a tropical paradise,
Thailand. Oh, this should be good.
this country often finds us focusing on its many vibrant islands, surrounded by white sandy beaches and very clear blue skies. But in today's case, we'll be visiting the rainforest-covered mainland of the country instead. For this one, we're venturing to the outskirts of the country's capital city, Bangkok. Rather unsurprisingly,
Bangkok. I'm sorry, but every time I love that name.
the area surrounding it also happens to be the most populous part of Thailand, with a whopping 23% of the population inside of its boundaries. This makes for a
OMG,
bustling
that narrator
metropolitan
sounds
city of
like an
more than
AI.
14 million people.
I assure you it's not. Abby says, OMG, that narrator sounds like an AI. I assure you it's not, because they just had a picture of him. You know how when they don't do the background? You know how when they like the audio changed? They had a picture of him, so he's a real human.
With hectic and busy roads, often filled with mopeds and tuk-tuks, and towering buildings.
Tuk-tuk? Did he just say tuk-tuks? Did he just say tuk-tuks? The fuck's a tuk-tuk? Is it like a dug-dug?
This makes for a bustling metropolitan city of more than 14 million people, with hectic and busy roads often filled with mopeds and tuk-tuks and towering buildings. Interesting fact, but did you know that Bangkok is one of the most visited cities in the world, often filled to the brim with tourists eager to try out its delicious street food, browse the busy markets, and, of course, experience the vibrant nightlife. Saying that, while visiting this metropolitan powerhouse, it is quite wise to—
Pretty sure it's called the tuk-tuk. And it is some kind of rickshaw or bicycle thing.
I'll take your word for that. I have no idea if it's what it is. But it doesn't surprise me with in that part of the world.
To keep your wits about you, as in the West, the city is well known as a place where tourists are often taken advantage of. Various scams, overcharging and dual pricing are unfortunately somewhat commonplace here, with more than 10% of tourists claiming they'd experienced at least one of these scams. So, as with most things, if something seems too good to be true or isn't what you expected, then it's probably good to go with your instincts. Despite Bangkok's reputation as an urban jungle, there are a few inner districts which hold plenty of vegetation. And in the district of Bang Khae, a sizable plot of land with a large house complete with a tropical garden could be found. And this is where we find 41-year-old Apachai Ongwasit. Apachai inherited this property from his father more than a couple decades ago. His father, Chalerm Chai Ongwasit, was the owner and founder of the now-defunct Ongwasit Market in Bangkok, which, by the way, is now defunct for a very good reason. Dark details aside, we'll get to that in just a moment. Otherwise, as previously hinted, markets are a very big deal in Bangkok, and having been there a couple of times myself, let me tell you that you can—
Nope, not an AI. Unless it lies, unless it can travel, that's a human.
Find pretty much anything and everything here. It's a place filled with treasure, excitement, and chaos. And so it's no surprise that the Ongwasit family had become rather wealthy through their business. Apachai had grown up on the Bang Khae property alongside his mother, father, and younger sister. And unlike others residing in this city, he never had to worry about money throughout his young childhood. However, the small family would only exist comfortably for a short while. And at a very young age, Apachai would sadly lose his entire family. On that note though, don't be too quick to extend your sympathies. His father was arrested in 1983 on suspicion of murdering a 12-year-old girl, to which eventually—
Whoa, my guy. Wait, that's what the father did? But the son did worse shit? I picked a good one.
he would ultimately be found guilty. Now, I could make a story on that case alone, but the short version is that, allegedly, Apichai's father lost his temper when the young girl broke one of his prized possessions, which only happened to be a large custom-built fish tank.
Oh my god. I'd be mad too, but Jesus Christ, it's a kid, dude. It's a kid. You don't just go um you don't just go killing a kid because the kid breaks something.
Attempting to cover up his crime would be in vain, but this didn't stop him from trying. And it would be through very grisly efforts too, as Chalom Chai dismembered her body in the process. His wife, who of course was also Apichai's mother, played a large part in trying to cover up the murder too. I mean, with 2 children and a wealthy husband, she wanted to retain that lavish lifestyle. Once the news broke out, she was deemed complicit in the crime. By the time officers had the chance to catch up with her, she'd already fled the country with Apichai's sister. And following this terrible whirlwind of a story, it left the young 4-year-old Apichai all alone in the big city of Bangkok. As a result, he was raised by distant relatives who seemed neither loving nor attentive. Apichai was essentially left to his own devices, and was often seen wandering the streets alone. Moving forward, we don't actually know much about Apichai's upbringing, but what we do know is that his father didn't last long in prison. In fact, before he was even sentenced, he was both shot and killed. With his father now dead and both his
Wait, both shot and killed? I guess that actually does make sense. He was both shot and killed. He was shot, but he didn't survive. Yeah, that makes sense. Dude, no wonder this guy's fucked up.
mother and sister gone, Apichai was left to inherit the entire family property. And as soon as he became a legal adult, this is where he would live for the rest of his life.
We come from a long line of cowboys. When I
Dialogue.
See
And
all of us out there on this ranch, I see
Mainland
how far
clickable skip ads
out
button. Click
So,
button.
due to his father's horrible crime, the property had gained a local reputation of being known as the House of Horrors. Ironically, let know that this reputation would somewhat eventually manifest into reality. Now, as you may know, Thailand is well known for its entertainment industry. And yes, I can hear your saucy monologue talking, because I am in fact referring to its adult entertainment sector. In fact, Thailand has one of the highest sex tourism rates in the world. And although by law, things like prostitution are illegal, it is widely accepted that these things still take place behind closed doors.
Everything that is illegal, somebody wants something for it. Am I saying that it's okay? Absolutely not. But there is a market for illegal activities. I do not condone that shit, but you know what? That's the facts. You make something illegal, somebody's who's gonna want it more and more, and they're willing to do whatever they can to get it. Sometimes, whether you like it or not, the way I see this going, prostitution might be illegal, but it sounds like it's going to end up killing somebody someday. Or a couple people. Let's find out.
And with it bringing in substantial tourism and money to the country, authorities do tend to die. There are massage parlors, saunas, and hourly hotels where you can get more salacious services. Sometimes these women are simply mere hostesses, to which men pay them for their conversation, light entertainment, and to keep their drinks flowing. Sadly though, there is an even darker side to this industry, and of course I'm talking about the world of drugs. Apichai was well aware of this. In fact, his main source of active income was the distribution of various drugs. He specialized in various pills, most notably that being methamphetamine. Although this is a life-threatening way to make money,
Meth. Again, don't condone it. Don't support it.
it actually suited Apichai perfectly. He was very accustomed to the dark underbelly of Bangkok, and had many connections. Interesting side note, but his special formula was actually to mix caffeine into the methamphetamine. Now, this is starting to sound like the ultimate coffeehouse crime. Alongside his so-called business, Apichai also relied on the industry for his physical needs too. You see, due to his possessive and abusive nature, he always scared off potential partners. He wanted someone to belong to him, but not to stay loyal himself, and he practiced this double standard in rather abusive ways. In fact, in December of 2018, he ordered a woman to follow him home at gunpoint, but thankfully she was able to flee before it was too late. But Appichai
Yeah, this guy sounds like a real winner. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even gotten to the crimes yet, and he already sounds like a cheery customer. Holy shit.
was able to escape the law. In Thailand, money talks, and he was able to bribe the victim with $500,000 baht, which is the equivalent to $14,000 or £11,000. Of course,
Wait, $500,000 of their currency is $14,000 here? Wow.
this was a high price for the drug dealer. Lucky for Appichai, he eventually ended up convincing her to accept a settlement fee 5 times lower, ending up at the sum of 100,000 baht, the equivalent of £2,000 or $2,700. Moving forward, his close run-in with the law would not stop him from his frequent visits to hostess bars. He was in regular contact with plenty of women to suit his needs, and one of those he favoured was 22-year-old Warren Thorne Chayachet, who happens to be a very important person to our case today. Affectionately known as Kukik, Warren Thorne grew up in a rural part of Thailand and was raised by her loving grandmother from a very young age. By the year 2019, she had moved to Bangkok to work at a hostess bar, with the money going towards looking after.
Wait. Dude, I thought this was like back in I don't know why, but I thought this was like way earlier than 2019. Oh my god, no. Oh my god. We got some modern murder here, boys and girls. And I keep pausing it a lot because, adding more to the you know, I don't want to just sit here and just not react. Plus, let's be real. There's one criticism about Coffee House Boy here, his voice puts me to sleep. So remind me not to listen to him while I'm working because I'll be taking a nap.
After her children. Since she had broken up with her former husband, the family didn't have much income, and this job was the difference between a roof over their heads and homelessness. Sadly, this isn't an uncommon occurrence in many countries around the world. So, when the wealthy Appichai Ongwasit expressed a liking to Kukik, she was more than happy to take him on as her client. The pair spent hours in host clubs, both drinking and getting to know each other, and eventually, they began to spend time together at his residence. She would often stay the night too, which does suggest that their relationship had progressed into the bedroom. And furthermore, it did look like Appichai was able to form a one-sided relationship with her. Whether she enjoyed his company or not, we will never actually know, but either way, the situation worked well for both of them. However, not long into their arrangement, she would find out the hard way that inheriting his father's money was not his only source of income. Appichai did not only deal meth, he was also a user himself, which unfortunately would eventually influence Kukik to try it out with him. This arrangement would go on for a few months together, and over time, Appichai became more and more possessive.
Dude, I can see where this is going. Like, there's a fucking roadmap to see where this is gonna go. How long will it take them to find her body?
Of her, and to make sure that she wasn't seeing any other man, he would often make her stay at his place most nights. Although Kukik still worked at hostess bars, she omitted any form of other favourable service, which of course would make her other clients rather frustrated. But in July of 2019, she would confess to Appichai that someone had assaulted her. Now, although she did file a report to the authorities, she didn't know or recognise the man, and so, unfortunately, it looked like he'd gotten away scot-free. That would be until the next month of August 2019, when, all of a sudden, she stopped responding to all police correspondence. In fact, she stopped responding to everybody, including her family. And so, with much worry and fear, after a few days of silence, they reported her as missing. But unfortunately, with working in the adult industry, the police seemed to be rather sluggish in taking her case seriously.
Dude, that's the same place here. I mean, you talk about someone, a woman of the streets, and they're like, well, we'll get to it. Like, even here, we're like, which is it's kind of stupid because that's someone's mother, that's someone's daughter, and you're just like, we'll get to it. Nah, my guy, you don't do that. Nah, like, but yeah, I can't. Nah, that's
Sadly,
not
this
right.
industry comes with many cases of assault and homicide, and with it intentionally being kept in the shadows, it can be quite hard to convict someone of a crime. Detectives kept the case open, but very little progress was made in trying to locate Kukik. I mean, without knowing that Abachai was connected to her disappearance, where could they even start? That would be until January of 2020, when all of a sudden an unexpected source would blow the case wide open, shining the spotlight on a very horrific discovery.
Here we
go.
This guy, Lumen.
220
Brilliant men's skincare solution.
Dialogue.
In the dark when it comes to
One-
solutions
click-
for
click-
oily
main
skin.
clickable skip ad.
breakout-
Button not.
I will say the commercial breaks are put in here perfectly.
In the early month of 2020, Bangkok police
Subtitles
were called to an abandoned industrial zone. Following a tip, they had learned that an infamous local drug dealer named Chalamchion Ngabua was working in the area. Now, in Thailand, drug-related offences can come with a very severe punishment. In fact, dealing with so-called Category 1 drugs can even hold the death penalty. Chalamchion was a well-known miscreant renowned for his under-the-table jobs, petty run-ins with the law, and significant involvement in the drug industry. So, after successfully locating and arresting him, you can likely guess that he was willing to say or do anything he could in order to reduce his sentence. And of course, this would include bribery. You see, Chalo Mchion claimed that he used to be a security guard at the Ongwasit residence, and this intrigued officers greatly. They had long wanted to incriminate Apachai for his involvement in the drug industry, and not only was Chalemchion willing to provide this evidence, but apparently he had something much bigger to reveal too. In short, he told the authorities that he could offer up crucial evidence in an ongoing murder case in exchange for a weaker sentence, and this was an offer that officers could simply not refuse. Rumour had it that if they were to visit Apachai's property and dig in a specific spot, they would find the remains of a young woman. Chalo Mchion claimed that he knew she was there, because he was the one to help bury her body on Apachai's orders.
Wait. So, I'm wondering if this is just one murder? Because the title makes it sound like there's multiple murders. Let's find
He
out.
further told the officers that he personally believed there may be more victims underground. And so,
Oh,
on
yeah,
January the
there we
9th,
go.
2020, the way over to Bangkay's House of Horrors. Following the concerning information, Apachai was detained as soon as officers stormed the property, catching him naked as they began to search the residence. Forensics began to dig near the large
poor
pond,
baby.
as
You
instructed
got
by
naked
Chalo
and they
Mchion.
saw your little
sadly,
wee-wee.
this is where they came across a chilling yet strange discovery. A large metal box was uncovered, and after dismantling the casket, they discovered the remains of a young woman. She was wrapped in clothes, a bedsheet, and a black plastic bag. With a large tattoo spread across her back, she was identified as 22-year-old Warenthorn Chayachat. Following this discovery, authorities now had reasonable grounds to formally arrest Apachai for the murder of Cookie. But despite this evidence laid before him, he viciously denied his involvement. The horror
Dude, she was only 22. Gee, she had so much.
would not end there, however, because following Chalemchion's testimony, authorities were now worried there may be more victims underneath. As a result, a thorough search of his property was conducted, with the large pond being their main area of interest. Horrifyingly, over the next few days, police and volunteer divers discovered more dark secrets around the pond. A total of 298 human bones were recovered from its murky water.
I'm sorry, what?
all of which seemed to belong to young women. They would also recover various heavy objects, including gates, dumbbells, and cement blocks, all of which could be used to sink these women to their watery graves. In addition to all of this, detectives found another metal casket in the water, and after opening it up, they found the decaying body of a woman. With such horrific details, this case understandably became talk of the town. In fact, the entire city of Bangkok was stunned. As the news spread, some believed that Apachai filled the pond with carnivorous fish named alligator gar to help dispose of the bodies. I mean, I had no idea what alligator gar were until I looked them up, and let me tell you, they look like something straight out of a horror movie. Quite frankly, I don't know what would be worse, seeing Apachai as the last thing on Earth before you die, or one of those things. Although the authorities claimed that no carnivorous fish were found in the pond, it doesn't negate the horrors discovered within its murky depths. And although they may never be able to identify the blackened and washed out human bones, through forensic analysis, they were able to confirm that some of those bones belonged to a 17-year-old girl and another one slightly younger. The one victim that could be named was Waranthon Chayachat, and through witness testimonies, physical evidence, and Apachai's own partial confessions, we can piece together an accurate story of what precisely happened to Kukik in August of 2019. Despite Apachai denying that he murdered her, he did eventually admit that she was accidentally killed. It turns out that, after growing scared that she might
Accidentally my ass. Shut
run off with other men, he held her captive for several days. This allegedly broke into a heated argument between the two, and after standing up for herself, Kukik declared that she wanted to end the relationship and rekindle her relationship with her previous husband. Menacingly though, Apachai was not going to let that happen. I have no idea why he had one of these things, but with the fear of being abandoned, he grabbed her by the arm and forced her into a metal casket which was found in his bedroom, locking her inside.
I'm sorry, what? I gotta hear that again. What? Where was it found?
Had one of these things, but with the fear of being abandoned, he grabbed her by the arm and forced her into a metal casket which was found in his bedroom.
Kinky. Like what the hell would you do with that? What are you gonna do with that?
Locking her inside. Here she remained for the entire night. But what Apachai supposedly failed to realize is that the metal casket was airtight. As a result, Kukik tragically died of suffocation, and by the time Apachai released her the following morning, she was already dead. Apachai's story didn't seem to free him of any guilt, and, if anything, just seemed to be his own way of shrugging off that guilt of killing someone. But upon further investigation and a statement from Chalo Emcheon, it became very apparent that Apachai's story was not truthful. Warren Thorne's autopsy concluded that she had suffered several broken ribs, which resulted in a collapsed chest cavity, which was very different from Apachai's story. Chalo Emcheon had also
By the way, I don't know if Abby's still watching this, but I'm starting to think that she is correct, that the writer of this wrote this with ChatGPT. I cannot confirm that the person that's reading it is human or not, but I swear to God, ChatGPT wrote this, because who the fuck speaks like this?
chest cavity. Autopsy concluded that she had suffered several broken ribs, which resulted in a collapsed chest cavity, which was
That's ChatGPT.
It's very different from Apachai's story. Chalo Emcheon had also claimed that those injuries were from an iron rod, which Apachai had used against her before tying her wrists and ankles and putting her in the casket. According to Chalo Emcheon, he himself had no idea that she was locked inside the casket until the next day, when he was offered money to help dispose of the casket and her body. And needing that extra cash, he regrettably decided to accept the job. Apachai hoped that nothing would ever come to light. After all, many women in Thailand's adult industry go missing every single day. But now, as we all know, his luck had finally run out, and he wouldn't face prosecution on just murder charges alone, as the authorities were sure to extensively search his home for drugs. So, do you remember the caffeinated methamphetamine he was distributing? Well, more than 1,000 Yaba pills were confiscated from his property, and with these pills containing methamphetamine and caffeine, those pills are sure to fuck you up. No surprise, but yaba translates to crazy medicine in Thai. It's classed as a Category 1 drug in Thailand.
Oh, good job there, Boomer. Good job there, buddy. So, they nail you on drug charges, they nail you on murder charges in a country where, let's be honest, prison probably sucks. Good job, buddy. Good job. Good job. Look at you. Look at you.
Meaning
Bye.
that the punishment for producing such a drug could mean the death penalty. However, since he was only found to possess yaba pills, and there was no evidence of producing them on his property, he was less likely to face lethal injection and more likely to face life behind bars. Throughout court proceedings, Apachai changed his story multiple times. One moment, he claimed that Kukik died from suffocation, and the next, it was apparently drug overdose. And when her DNA was found on the dumbbell, Apachai claimed it had fallen on her during the argument. One thing is for certain though, it is confirmed that Kukik suffered blunt force trauma before.
Wait. Her DNA was found on the dumbbell when it fell on her during an argument? Right. She spit on it or something? Like, I don't
She passed away,
understand.
which is something that Apachai denies. The local media would eventually dub Apachai as the metal casket killer, and upon more thorough investigations, detectives would realize that several people around Apachai disappeared during his time at large. This included friends, girlfriends, and even prostitutes. Sadly though, with the DNA condition so poor, any analysis conducted on it could not determine if those people were in fact the ones he'd buried. Which is kind of terrifying if you think about it, because we don't actually know how many people Apachai murdered. I mean, he's almost certainly a serial killer, but it can't be confirmed. As a result, he could only be charged with one murder, despite the overwhelming evidence that he had likely killed countless others.
Subtitle / closed caption.
Start yours at
Dialogue.
purdueglobal.edu.
Click. Clickable account. Main. Play. K. Next. Mute. Autoplay is on button. Mute.
Having said that,
Okay, we're
with
back.
Apachai behind bars and his charges so severe, it was almost certain that he was to spend the rest of his life behind bars. So, although his other victims couldn't be identified, this likely wouldn't have affected his time incarcerated either way. The real pain here rests with those families out there who still have a missing relative. Those who will never receive the closure they deserve. But the one family who could seek closure from this case was Kukik's family. Distraught by the news, they actually demanded compensation for their grief. A demand that was fortunately granted. As a matter of compensation for their grief and to help cover funeral costs, Kukik's mother and brother both received a collective 2.9 million baht, which is equal to $80,000 or £65,000. 1 year after the chilling discovery, Apachai Ongwasit finally stood trial on charges of murder, drug possession, and sexual assault with the aid of a firearm. Multiple witnesses testified against him, with his own family refusing to come forward in his defense. One of his ex-girlfriends also took to the stand. She told the court about his controlling nature, his abusive tendencies, and his physically violent temperament. And the woman he assaulted and then bribed in 2019 now felt safe to testify against him.
Karma's a bitch, isn't it there, boy? Oh, man. See, that's why you don't assault women. That's why you don't burn bridges. That's why you show respect to people. I mean, seriously.
Further reducing his chance for sympathy from the judge.
Mute.
With the overwhelming amount of evidence stacked against him, no witnesses or testimonials in his favour, and the very real prospect of receiving the death penalty, Apachai Ongwasit pleaded guilty to the murder of Warren Thorn Chayachat. Despite his guilty plea though, he denied any other charges. But thankfully, in January 2021, the judge would overturn this and find him guilty of all charges against him. As a result, he was given 25 years for drug possession, 11 years for assault, and a life sentence for murder, only narrowly missing the death penalty. Now, I don't really believe in this saying, as I've seen plenty of people come out better or worse than their parents, But some say the apple never falls far from the tree. Well, in this story it really applies, because Appichai really did follow after his murderous father, and they both believed they'd get away with it. Both were foolishly overconfident about themselves too, but thankfully weren't actually that smart. At least now, Kukik's family have received both compensation and closure for their loss, but in sad reality, neither of these two things come even close to the pain that they have suffered. As for the community surrounding Bangkei, many believe that the Ongwasit residence, which has now seen countless murders, is absolutely haunted. And Appichai may as well join the list of ghosts in the property, because with him now forever behind bars, he is essentially good as dead. Anyway folks, that covers our story today. Thank you so much for being here for another video today by Coffee.
Cake. Red sir.
Alright, well, that video's done. What'd you guys think of it? I personally thought it was... that was interesting. It's always interesting to go away from the United States, away from Europe, to see where the rest of the world goes. Anyway, so there's that one. What did you guys think of it? If you want to watch the video without my commentary, or just, you know, find the
YouTube ideas
channel,
Google.
here's the link.
When an insane HTTP
link.
Copied selection to clipboard.
Copy
Grouping.
that. And then we will... Where's the
Red
chat?
circle live studio. Blank. Main landmark clickable complementary. Button default. Clickable button settings. Button RTMP. Button presentation. Out of list putting everything. Edit title button heading. No next edit field. Clickable remove button. Enter full screen. Landscape. Picture. Sync. Thumb. Menu. Mac. Mute button. Menu. Max. Mute button. Mute. Dis. Invite. More button. Complementary. List with. Share screen. Low. Video. RT. Clickable. Clickable. Default brand. End stream button. No next button.
Alright, so there's no chat.
Red stream chat.
So
Google
let's
Chrome.
just head and
Blank.
post it right
Blank.
here. Let's post it right here. So there's the chat. There it is, chat. Right
Blank.
there. Have fun.
Red circle. Putting everything. Main landmark clickable studio. Clickable horror live stream a review of true. No next heading. Heading level. Click button graphic YouTube icon. Button graphic Twitch icon. Complementary. Chat overlay frame graphic platform stream elements Tyler Shepard. Review of true. Graphic thing. Graphic platform host. Link https://youtube.b/w1fs78bo2usi equals k3.
There we go. Okay, so it did go through. It did go through.
Thing.
There we
Graphic
go.
platform Abbeyforth. Pretty sure it's called a tuk-tuk, and it is some kind of rickshaw or bicycle. Thing.
Yeah, you're probably right. Alright, so there's that one. A lot of these other ones are like an hour long, and it... Yeah, we could watch maybe one more, and then we'll save the others for a Friday stream.
YouTube ideas
like
Google.
Fun.
The disturbing https:// deleted
So
a4.
that one's done, so we
The
can
disturbing
knock
case
that
of the
one
horror
off
core
the
killer documentary by
list.
EWU Crime Story time 4,123,060 views 1 year ago 35 minutes A3. 4 scary infamous Halloween true crime cases by Let's Read. 208,708 views 3 years ago 1 hour. The disturbing when an insane teen killer.
You know what? We'll go with this one because this one's about 35 minutes. So that way for the next for Friday we can have, you know, we can have the other two up covering on Friday. So let's
Copied selection.
Let's copy the title of this.
Red circle
one.
live studio.
Open
Two-
up the
Bar.
YouTube.
Address and search bar edit has disturbing case of the google.com/search. The disturbing
Let's just do it.
clickable link skip
Let's
to
just
main
do it this
content.
way.
Mainland web results. Clickable the disturbing case of the horror core killer documentary heading level 3 link. Link YouTube. Link heading
And it did it. Cool. The way I wanted it to.
clickable.
I figured
Clickable
life
center.
if I don't attend,
Clickable
I'll
main
waste
landmark. Clickable complementary. Clickable skip ads button.
Footage of killer Richard Samuel McCroskey has never been seen before.
Oh my
Verified.
God!
Verified.
Explore with us. Shut up. Explore with us. Only not an hour and a half long. Let's go.
Alright, so I'm making this video because, or if anybody finds this,
Oh God, that dude sounds fucking weird. Oh God.
I really don't know what I'm trying to say, and just I'm breathtaking at what I've done. I apologize. I know I'm gonna pay for my consequences. Wish that I could have not done this, but
Well, then don't do
just
it.
lost
You
my
shouldn't have
mind.
done it.
I snapped, and I did what I did, and I gotta pay for it now. My consequences. I'm like all shaky and stuff, but like...
Dude, how old is this kid? Is this like a kid? Like, what the
To anybody that finds this, tell my parents that, like, I love them, and I'm very sorry for doing this, and, there's nothing really else to say. To everybody that's probably gonna hate me for this, I'm sorry, and, I had to do it. My mind just snapped. I couldn't control it anymore. That's it. Fuck you to the big world. Fuck everybody in the world. I can't stand this place.
Richard filmed this video as he was living in the home of his victims and their rotting corpses. He stayed in the house with their dead bodies for days after their deaths. Neighbors began noticing a sickening stench emanating from somewhere in the neighborhood, but couldn't pin down the source. They shrugged it off, attributing the smell to a dead animal.
Yeah, but if it's just swamp, but if it's just,
Little did they know they were smelling 4 human bodies as they began to...
4? 4 human bodies? I don't know who the fuck is worse. The last guy or this guy? This guy's definitely scarier. I mean, the last guy's scarier, but the last guy was scary. Don't get me wrong, but this guy might be on the... This guy... What the hell?
Decompose. When Richard finally fled the house, he left behind a crime scene so horrific, police wouldn't even describe what they found beyond the victims dying of blunt force trauma. What exactly was he doing during his time in the home remains a mystery to this very day.
I don't think
I
don't think I want to know what he was doing around dead bodies. I'm good on that, dog.
Certain. When he set off to visit his online friend for the first time, no one could have possibly imagined everything would take such a shocking turn.
Oh, scary music.
20-year-old Richard Samuel McCroskey III was an aspiring horrorcore rapper who lived with his father and sister in Castro Valley, California. Richard had been relentlessly teased and harassed in high school, primarily because of his red hair and weight, but he was very submissive and didn't fight back. As a result, he dropped out of 2 different high schools and never graduated. For a while, he worked as a graphic designer and was skilled at making websites.
Dude, what the fuck is a horrorcore rapper? Hang on. Hey, Google, what is a horrorcore rapper? Oh, something like Eminem, only probably not as talented. Okay. Let's continue.
Many described him as a quiet young man who kept to himself, but his MySpace profile showed the juxtaposition of his online...
Damn, that's how you know this is old. MySpace is dead.
...and real-world personalities. Under the names Lil Demon Dog or Psycho Sam, his MySpace page was littered with references to the underground horrorcore scene, which included obscene lyrics and various depictions of murder. You can see some of the horrorcore artwork Richard displayed in his bedroom. Many believe his stage name was inspired by an unhealthy obsession with David Richard Berkowitz, also known as the Son of Sam, a serial killer who murdered 6 people from 1976 to 1977.
Wait, so horrorcore rapping is basically like, these are people that idolize murderers? Nah, dog, nah.
Many of his photos show him posed in cemeteries or holding weapons such as an axe. In one video Richard posted he is wearing a skull bandana while standing outside a Gothic church during a lightning storm,
Jesus.
rapping lyrics about the evil voices inside my head. They just want me to murder continuously. They want me to take lives on a mass murder spree. They love the smell of a body that's rotten and decayed. That's what I think about when I'm stalking my prey. The fact that Richard says evil voices inside my head does not necessarily mean he is hearing voices in the same way that a person with schizophrenia hears voices. While people who have schizophrenia can commit murder in response to a commanding hallucination, it doesn't seem like this was the case with Richard. People with antisocial personality disorder often have many different selves. People with APD also sort of morph into different identities, depending on the situation and what they want to achieve. For instance, they can be very charismatic in situations where they need to manipulate someone to get their way. So in Richard's case, the voices inside his head that he's referring to can simply just be his evil side or his own inner violent tendencies.
Dude, that might be one of the scariest things I've heard all day. That, what the fuck was it called? APD? Let's back up a bit. What the fuck?
Antisocial personality disorder often
Antisocial personality. No criticism to those that have it, but it sounds scary as hell.
have many different selves. People with APD also sort of morph into different identities, depending on the situation and what they want to achieve. For instance, they can be very charismatic in situations where they need to manipulate someone to get their way. So in Richard's case, the voices inside his head that he's referring to can simply just be his evil side or his own inner violent tendencies. As Richard's confidence within the horrorcore niche grew, he started chatting with other like-minded individuals, among them 16-year-old Emma Kelly Niederbrock, who went by the username Ragdoll.
Alright, so you wanted a video, and you made me videos, so, and he said please, so I'll make you this video, even though I'm not gonna like do anything, because my room's kind of dirty, and yeah.
Yeah, he sounds hella young.
I don't want to show you my dirty room.
And
But
scared.
this video is for Emma, because you just told me to say your name. So, I don't know. I'll make you another video once clean. I promise. I like my wall, because that's not dirty. But behind me is dirty, so that's not good. Alright, this video is for you, Emma. The ragdoll. Amazing. Amazing ragdoll. And, I really don't know what to do for you on video. So I guess I'll, like, show you my room a little bit, if that's...
Yeah, dude, he sounds young, scared, and infatuated with this individual. Let's see where this goes. I have a bad feeling.
What you want to see? First off, we got my door. And then we got my addiction for energy drinks. And then we got my small underground CD collection going on right here. And then we got my wall of awesomeness. Call it lots of posters and flyers and a Hatchet Man charm and random stuff. A hatchet. Oh no.
The fact that he has a hatchet just sitting there. Okay.
The battery's dying.
It was just getting dark on Halloween night. Monsters and ghosts were
Dialogue.
out for You're the envy of the boulevard, and you're
No.
Emma lived in Farmville, Virginia, with her mother, Dr. Deborah Sue Kelly, and her father, Reverend Mark Allen Niederbrock. Since middle school, she had been homeschooled and was described as a sweet and well-rounded girl. As she got a little older, Emma developed a rebellious streak and began listening to horrorcore music. To fit her new aesthetic, Emma eventually dyed her hair a vibrant pink and began to wear heavy black eye makeup.
There's no way her parents didn't see this.
Her parents hoped that her new interest was just a phase.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have been more wrong. Emma's father, Mark Niederbrock, was a reverend and head of Walker's Presbyterian Church in Hicksburg.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun.
Her mother, Deborah Kelly, was a sociology and criminology professor at Longwood University and a beloved mentor to her students.
No, a criminology professor? The absolute irony, depending on where this story goes, Damn.
When her parents separated, Mark moved family home, leaving Emma and Deborah to live together. Still, the parents maintained an amicable relationship. However, at this point, Deborah has started to become concerned about Emma's interest in horrorcore, and so all three family members went to counseling. Emma also met one of her best friends, 18-year-old Melanie Wells, online through the popular horrorcore artist Razakel. In the horrorcore community, the artists and fans often grew close and frequently communicated online. Razakel had befriended both girls separately while chatting over MySpace. She'd bonded with Emma not only because of their mutual love for horrorcore, but
dude, they're acting like horrorcore is dead now. Bad use of pun. Yeah, that was a terrible use of a pun. Yeah, they're acting like horrorcore is yeah, I'll just fucking say it, dead. Is it? I don't know. It doesn't sound like my kind of
but also because they could relate on a deeper level. Both enjoyed photography, makeup, and doing hair, and they both had fathers who were Presbyterian ministers. When Razakel learned that Melanie and Emma actually lived near each other, she decided to introduce them. Melanie used the online handle Mrs. Free Abortions, posted photos of herself in cemetery.
What?
Melanie used the online handle Mrs. Free Abortions, posted photos of herself in cemeteries and listed her interests as cigarettes, alcohol, lust, restorative arts, blood and gore, and open graves. As soon as she met Emma, the girls became inseparable. Emma, Melanie, and Richard were brought together through this expansive online community, and unbeknownst to the girls, their fate was sealed.
Oh no. What is he doing?
We defiled the grave, and then lightning struck seconds ago. I think we're being warned. And now it's starting to rain. It's because of me. Fucked up the grave. It's not my fault. Now it's starting to rain really hard. So peace.
Before long, the relationship between Emma and Richard turned somewhat romantic. However, while Richard referred to Emma as his online girlfriend,
somewhat romantic? Dude, I have a bad feeling about where this is gonna go.
Emma may not have been as serious about him. Razakel says that Emma never referred to Richard as her boyfriend, but said they were close and getting closer. Still, they exchanged flirty messages back and forth for around a year before making plans to meet in person. The three teenagers hatched a plan to attend a horrorcore music festival in Southgate, Michigan, called Strictly for the Wicked.
Where the hell is Southgate, Michigan, and why would a horror music festival go there? Is it a hellscape?
But they would need some help. Emma's parents weren't exactly thrilled with their daughter's music choices, and they grew more upset when Emma started writing ominous messages on her bedroom walls. However, all they wanted was for their daughter to be safe and happy, so they chose to be supportive even if they didn't understand it. They agreed that she should attend the music festival.
Wow. Parents that... Wow, I did not see that coming with the parents. I thought the parents would have been the ones killed. I watch too many crime shows. Holy shit.
But only if everyone stayed at their home in Farmville, and that they would drive the trio to and from the music festival. Emma and Richard were ecstatic to meet for the first time in real life. For Richard, he was looking forward to something good finally happening to him. His own family unit had broken apart 5 months earlier when his father asked his mother to move out of their home. If this was weighing on him, he seemed to put it out of his mind by focusing on seeing Emma. On September 7th,
yeah, because you get a hot girl to talk to, dude.
Emma wrote on his MySpace page about her own excitement, saying, "The next time you check your MySpace, you'll be at my house. I love you so, so much, baby, forever and always. You are my one and only everything. I can't wait to see you, baby. It's like 6:17 a.m. and I've been up since 4-ish, filled with uber amounts of excitement. I can't wait. I leave to pick you up in 5 hours. Gah, my insides feel all squishy." Several days before the concert on September 7th or 8th, Richard arrived in Farmville. He'd flown all the way from California just to finally meet Emma. But as we all know, things aren't always as they appear online. Emma was immediately put off by Richard's shyness and physical appearance. Even before the concert, there may have been cracks forming between the once loved-up couple. But still on
Oh, no.
September 12th, 2000.
I mean, really? Like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, shit.
9, they all went to the show as they'd planned. The drive was no small feat, about 10 hours, which shows just how committed Emma's parents were to keep their 16-year-old daughter safe, or at least try to.
Subtitles / closed caption.
It makes me feel so special.
You are.
Dialogue.
You are special. If you don't mind, if you could just...
This makes me feel
Clickable
really
skip ads
special
button.
too.
As well, Mark and Deborah had been separated for about a year at this point, further proving their dedication to protect Emma. While on the way there, Emma posted about the trip, saying,
Dude, I kind of dig these parents.
about a long-ass drive sharing the car with a preacher. It's gonna suck, but no doubt is it worth it. It isn't known for sure what exactly happened between Emma and Richard, but some sources claim she began flirting with other boys while at the festival, and there's even a rumor that she went out of her way just to avoid him during the concert. Richard's sister later said she was told by his friends that the two even had a falling out that night. Another rumor is that they had a fight because Emma received a flirty text from another guy at the show. Given what was going to come, something unpleasant must have happened between Emma and Richard. It seems like Richard may have been under the impression, or at least wanted to believe, that he and Emma were exclusively together, so naturally Richard was feeling rejected.
Dude. This is why, if you're going to date somebody, make sure that you meet them in IRL before you do that. Yeah, I'm not here to criticize, but something bad's going to happen here.
Betrayed and even angry. Even so, they all returned to Farmville the next day after the concert, and things seemed to be all right. Seemed to be is the key here. Both girls logged into their MySpace rock house. At 2:43 a.m. on Monday 14th, Melanie posted online that she would be home on September 16th. She even wrote about missing people at home, but she would never make it back. Her parents became worried when that date came with no word from the young woman. Her father drove to the home in Farmville where he knew she was staying, but no one answered the door after hours of waiting. The distraught parents made countless attempts to track down Melanie over the next 2 days, calling her phone, Emma's phone, and even Razakel, who hadn't seen them since they left the concert. But then they managed to get through to Richard on the phone at least 2 times. Something was off. Yet when they spoke with him, he gave them a different story every time regarding the girl's whereabouts. They called the Farmville police and requested a welfare check, but officers didn't find anything suspicious. Well, at first. That same day, Melanie's mother, Kathleen...
Wait, you do a welfare check? What? Do you just kind of go whoop, 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 whoop? Yep, we're good. Come on, my guy.
also
Like, I don't know what it takes to do a welfare check, but Jesus.
Reached out to Mark Niederbrock and asked if he could go check out the house. He agreed, and Kathleen was relieved that she would finally have answers soon. But her relief was short-lived. Hours passed, and there was still no call from Mark.
Hello? Yeah, this is Farmville Police Department. Okay, did you just speak with somebody at the residence?
Yes, I just spoke with, the daughter's boyfriend.
Okay, well, I don't know. My sergeant went over there, and he said that it was a young kid, a boy, and that Melanie and the girl she's staying with are at the movies now. Yesterday they went to Richmond. Vehicle had broken down, and the cell phone's dead, and that kind of thing. So is that what he talked to you about?
What he told me, yeah. And like I said, but I don't know where the mother is. I don't know where. I mean, she's usually the one that I guess drives them around, and she's just disappeared. I haven't spoken to her at all. The father I talked to earlier on today,
right?
He said that he was on his way. He didn't know. As a matter of fact, he was on the road when I was talking to him. He was going through Farmville. He was supposed to stop at the house. I haven't heard from him since.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm at this point, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think at all.
So I think I know what happens here, but I'm not going to spoil it. Oh my god.
You know, and him being at the movies, I just tried to call. He said that Emma tried to call, or just called him from the movies. And I tried to call the phone that he said she called from. There's no answer. It goes right into it.
Okay.
Later that night, when she still hadn't heard back, Kathleen called the police again. They arrived at the Farmville house and were greeted by Richard at the front door, who explained that the girls had left to see a movie. The officers left without looking inside the home, but naturally, Kathleen wasn't satisfied with the answer Richard had given. She called the home and once again spoke with him, but this time, instead of giving excuses, he simply stated that the girls couldn't answer the phone.
This is what doesn't make sense. I mean, my daughter would call.
If you have a utility meter like this on the side of your house,
well, we know
you
they
can
can't
get
answer the
for
phone.
no money out of pocket. It costs nothing to
clickable skip ads
install.
Right.
So I
Settings.
just don't know what to think.
Dude, the audio quality of this call is like, I know this was back in the early 2000s, but damn.
What scared me earlier, she was saying, oh, there was noises in the basement coming from, in the house. And, I don't know.
All right. If you don't hear anything from her, then just call us back, and I'll send an officer back over there.
Okay. Yeah, it just, like I said, it doesn't make, none of this makes, any sense at all.
Dude, I gotta give this mother massive props. Like, I know a mother would do this. But good on you. Good on you. I'm sorry that you discovered what you discovered, but good on you for not just taking somebody at their word and be like, nah, something's sus.
I've heard that, they were supposed to be home by 9 this evening and then 10 and then, so I don't know.
All right. Well, just try it, wait and see if Melanie calls you in the next hour, and if not, call us back.
Yeah, I will. Thank you so much for your help.
Okay. You're welcome, Ms. Love. All right. Bye-bye.
Kathleen insisted that Richard call the police himself because something seemed very wrong, and surprisingly, he did. Richard called 911. However, instead of revealing anything about the girls, he complained about a strange sound coming from the basement of the home.
Phone 911.
Hey, could I have a police unit come by my house? Because I keep hearing sounds in the basement, and I'm scared to go down there and check what it is.
Dude! I swear to God, you're AI that got broken brain. Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna deny the cop when they come in? When they come by to check on the scary sound? This should be fun.
Okay, what kind of sounds do you hear?
Like just noises, like something moving around down there. I think it's the dog, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
We have 2 dogs, but one of them is upstairs. I just put him up there, and the other one might be down there, but I'm not sure if it's the dog or not.
Okay, and it's in the basement. What's your name?
Sam.
Sam?
But this isn't my house. I'm staying at my girlfriend's house.
Okay. All right, we'll get somebody to come up there, okay?
Thank you very much. Bye.
Police showed up once again and did a quick search of the basement, but found nothing and left. Authorities later defended their choice to leave the Niederbrock home without seeing Melanie, Emma, or either of her parents during the welfare checks because they thought Richard had reasonably answered all of their questions.
Dude! So if they're not in the basement, where the fuck are they?
Yet around that same day when neighbors walked by the home, they noted that even from the street, something smelled dead nearby, which they attributed to an animal. It's both surprising and troubling that the police did so little to investigate this situation after receiving multiple phone calls about minors not being heard from in days and alleged noises in the basement. The law gives police officers the authority to act in whatever manner they deem necessary when performing welfare checks, including investigating unexpected criminal activity. The police certainly had the ability legally to do much more than they did.
Yeah, these cops failed miserably.
It seems highly unlikely that they wouldn't notice an odor that was commented on by people much further from the scene.
Right.
It also seems
true. See, this is why I love this type of channel. They're like, yeah, well, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, these cops fucked up royally.
Seems impossible to believe that once they were inside the home, There was no evidence of a crime when 4 people had been murdered in such a violent and gruesome manner. The families of the deceased could try to sue the officers for their failure to do more to investigate. However, it's an uphill battle to do so. State laws provide police officers with protections from civil lawsuits and criminal charges. These protections are not simply defenses that the officers may raise after they're charged or sued. They effectively prevent a criminal charge or civil lawsuit from even going forward. The police have what is called qualified immunity. Qualified immunity means that police officers are protected from being within the guidelines of their job and not acting negligently or unreasonably. This gives police officers room to do their job without the fear of lawsuits interfering. In this particular case, it could be reasonably argued that the police did in fact act negligently by not thoroughly searching the home for the missing minors, or because they missed the wretched odor emanating from the Farmville home that was noticed by neighbors. At some point on the 17th, Richard made a call home. His sister said he was checking to see if his family was okay, and he ended the message with, "I love you guys." Hearing this, his sister knew something was off. They didn't say "I love you" to each other. However, because she knew her brother was someone who wouldn't kill a spider if she asked him to, she couldn't have imagined.
Wait. So, number one, he doesn't say "I love you." Whatever. Yeah, it's weird, but whatever. Number two, he doesn't kill spiders, and yet he allegedly, at least as of now, allegedly killed 4 humans? The fuck? Make it make sense, chat! Make it make sense!
Just how horribly wrong things had gone in Farmville. It's possible that Richard wasn't a very assertive individual. Maybe he was highly sensitive and fragile in many ways, unable to kill a spider. He may have, at one point in his life, been a rather weak person. The fact that Richard was teased and harassed in high school means that he could have developed some trauma during his adolescent years. However, teens who were bullied and subsequently traumatized typically don't grow up to become murderers. Richard appears to have had an immense amount of underlying anger and hatred that was never expressed in a healthy way. When a person remains passive against bullying or abuse, they will harbor a lot of self-hatred.
Dude, I love the way whoever wrote this script for this video is like literally like being so charitable to both sides. I love that.
And of course, hatred of others. The self-hatred develops because the person is not standing up for themselves.
By the way, hang on.
227. Dialogue. Pause. Next. Auto. Setting. Mini. Theater. Play up. Full screen. F. Clickable My Ad Center. Clickable Go Solar button. Clickable Navigation. Insert chart button. Hide banner button. View plans button. Clickable fill down point. Click. Hide button. Net. V. Click. Play. Theater. Mini. Settings. Auto. Mute. Next. Pause. Show cards. Banner land. Clickable notifications button. Click. Main landmark. Clickable complementary landmark. Show cards menu button. Sub menu more from. Pause. K. Button. Play. Next. Shift. Mute. Autoplay, subtitles, settings menu button collapse, mini player, theater mode, play on TV, full screen, F, clickable My Ad Center button, clickable Go Solar button, clickable navigation landmark view module button, insert chart button, hide, V, clickable filled down pointing, clickable filled down point, up, clickable filled down pointing, click, copy, clickable filled down, clickable apply now button, clickable button, clickable action menu button, clickable action menu, clickable action menu, clickable
Alright, where's the
dialogue? Click, search, click, frame YouTube, 1M, VI, click, mainland, pause, next, mute, autoplay, subtitle, settings, mini player, theater, play, full screen, clickable button, My Ad Center, save money, sponsor, form.type form. Clickable button Go Solar, clickable navigation, visited link graphic VID, button hide banner, rocket super, unlock the most, button view, clickable AI coach, new bait, clickable how do I get more subscriber, clickable summarize this, clickable analyze the hook, clickable why did this video, notifications, out of list out of region, clickable heading level 1 overview. Notifications, F8, out of, button filled down pointing triangle. Main landmark. Dialogue.
Right,
click, VID, review, main, auth, clickable the most twisted case you've ever heard document, dialogue.
Alright, I can't find the like button. So I'll just take...
Toolbar, address and search bar edit has...
We'll copy it.
Selection removed, YouTube ideas Google Sheets. The disturbing case of the horrorcore killer documentary by...
And
a 3 set to https://www.youtube.
We'll
Restream chat.
Head over here. We'll paste for those that want it. I'll keep that up. After this is done, I'll just put post this in the chat with my own commentary. Let them know that I sent you. Give them a thumbs up because, damn it.
YouTube ideas, Google Sheets, Google.
Good shit.
Red Circle Live Studio. Recipe 200 and.
Oops.
HTTPS. Unselected.
There we go. Now back up.
And protecting themselves from the abuse. Helplessness and powerlessness then develop as a result. In Richard's situation, he likely felt helpless and powerless for so long after being bullied. He may have developed a mental image of himself as this tough individual that others should fear. This pretend image he developed made him feel bigger, stronger, and more powerful. This self-image likely gave him a sort of high, so he really embodied that image more and more with time. Once Richard felt betrayed by Emma, his online girlfriend, this betrayal triggered that underlying anger and hatred of others, almost like that inner angry and violent nature remained dormant.
I wonder if it's betrayal on his part, not on hers.
Until he felt betrayed by his romantic interest. He stepped into and acted on that tough, powerful image that was really only in his mind for years, but to him it was real. To Richard, he was that strong, powerful person. It took a trigger, romantic rejection, to lead him to act on those feelings of hatred and desire for violence that he harbored for so long. Kathleen continued to call the police for help finding Melanie.
Yes, I don't know who I need to talk to, or
What's up?
My daughter is with a family in Farmville, Virginia, and she's been basically missing for the past 2.5 days. I can't get a hold of her. Her cell phone's turned off. What's worse is the girl that she was staying with. Nobody knows where she is. Her cell phone is turned off. This daughter's boyfriend is staying there, and I've talked to him several times today, and I've gotten different stories. But my husband went down. He was supposed to pick up my daughter yesterday, and he went down there. He arrived at about 11 o'clock in the morning. He sat there for 8 hours outside the house. Nobody showed up. Nobody answered the door. And, I mean, we're about 4 hours away here, and I don't know what else to do.
Okay, is your husband still here in Farmville?
No, he's home. He came home.
Oh, okay.
He was going to head back down there tomorrow to pick her up, but everybody seems insecure off the face of the earth, and I just don't know what to think. I checked the cell phone records with my cell phone company. The last time she used her cell phone, 1:28 in the morning on September 15th.
All right, that mother's on point, dude. Why is the mother doing more than the cops? Seriously?
And actually, she wasn't even somebody who called in and left her a voicemail.
After the following day, September 18th. But this time, they were stopped dead in their tracks by a horrific odor emanating from behind the closed front door. No.
Oh, now you smell it! Functional retards.
Knowing that sinister smell all too well, officers swiftly entered the home and stumbled upon what they later described as a slaughterhouse. 3 bloody bodies were found brutally murdered in a downstairs bedroom, with a 4th body uncovered later in an upstairs bedroom. The unrecognizable victims were identified as Mark Niederbrock, Deborah Kelly, Emma Niederbrock, and Melanie Wells. Melanie, Emma, and Deborah had been mercilessly bludgeoned to death in their beds as they slept. Several weapons were discovered at the crime scene, but experts believe the injuries were specifically from a wooden splitting maul taken from the family's own backyard. When Mark had shown up to check on the girls, he had been attacked from behind with the same instrument.
A what? That's a new one.
Because there was no evidence that Mark had tried to fight back, it looked as though he'd been ambushed as he entered the house. The father had been beaten so viciously that the hardwood floor under him was nearly destroyed and soaked with blood.
How did the cops that entered that house before not sense any of this?
None of the 4 victims had any defensive wounds, and all had died from blunt force trauma to the head. Both Mark and Melanie's bodies had been moved down to Emma's room with her corpse in a twisted effort to clean up. Authorities were horrified at the chilling crime scene, but more than that, they were faced with the realization that during their previous visits to the home, they had unknowingly gory evidence. But something was missing. There was no sign of Richard anywhere. Earlier that same day at around 4 in the morning, Richard had stolen and crashed Mark's car. Unaware of the horrors he had committed at that time, or that the car he crashed was his getaway vehicle, a police officer issued him a summons for driving without a license.
What the fuck? Driving without a license and he gets nailed for that? It's always... Dude, if you... I... Literally, Reddit has the best advice. If you're trying to get away from a crime, do not commit another crime. Oh, but criminals usually aren't that smart.
The officer even went as far as to help secure him a ride with the tow truck and simply let him go. Richard was dropped off at a convenience store around 6 a.m. by the tow truck driver, who reported that Richard had an overwhelmingly foul, putrid odor. The smell was so strong he even noticed it inside the crashed vehicle. He said Richard stunk like the devil, and he was forced to roll down the car windows and stick his head outside. The fresh air didn't help much because he still heaved visibly twice. Yet Richard didn't seem to mind the foul smell. During their trip, the driver also noticed that Richard had red marks on his neck that looked like hickeys. When he commented on them, Richard claimed that his girlfriend gave him. In fact, he was so comfortable with the driver that he admitted the 2000 Honda he just wrecked belonged to the father of his girlfriend. Once at the convenience store, Richard then called for a cab to take him to Richmond.
Dude, what the fuck? I have no words, dude.
International Airport. In a strange turn of events, on their way to the airport, the taxi was pulled over by a police officer for speeding. Apparently unconcerned, Richard had simply calmly exited the vehicle and had a smoke by the side of the road while the incident was sorted, as though he didn't have a care in the world, even after 2 very close calls with police officers. Little did anyone know the true horror he had left in his wake. Just hours after the grisly crime scene had been discovered, a man named Andres Shrim called the police. Shrim was the boyfriend of the horrorcore rapper Razakel. He went by the stage name Sectanic the Soulless, and his record label was called Serial Killin' Records. In his call to the police, Shrim said that one of Richard's friends had spoken to him recently and said that Richard was noticeably upset and that he had made some disturbing comments, including that he had killed someone, maybe even a couple of people. The police were now certain that Richard was the perpetrator in the 4 horrific murders. They circulated a photo of him from his MySpace account in an attempt to track him down. It wasn't long before officers found Richard sleeping in the baggage claim area on September 19th and arrested him before he could hop a flight back to California. The cold killer had actually left behind a piece of paper at the crime scene containing the exact address of the airport. His grand escape plan had been to wait in the airport for a flight in 2 days. At some point, he must have panicked because he...
Not a very good plan. By the way, you probably smell like ass. Or worse than ass, like you smell like death. Yeah, TSA should not have let you pass through, bro. I know for a fact they never would have done it now.
He attempted to buy a ticket for an earlier plane, but it was too expensive, so all he could do was wait, which is exactly how police found him.
See, that's karma. Karma's like, okay, so you killed these people, which, by the way, not making a joke on, because Jesus Christ, you killed these people. Yeah, I'm gonna make you wait 4 days for an airplane flight. What is this? Dude, why is this music so fucking weird? Done?
We advised you of your Miranda rights. You said you understood your rights and you signed the form saying you were willing to talk to us. Are you still willing to talk to us?
Yes, but I would like to have somebody here too, like a lawyer.
Okay, that is your option. So are you invoking your right to remain silent?
Yes.
After he was arrested, it was noted that his clothing was totally caked in gore, as he hadn't changed or bathed since committing his atrocious crimes. Many pointed out after the news broke of Richard's arrest that
God. I'm okay.
ironically, one of his songs was titled, "I Kill People for Real." It appears that sometimes life really does imitate art. But after his arrest, many were left with more questions than answers. While Richard claimed to have chosen the 8-pound maul as the murder weapon because he thought nobody would suffer, he also allegedly drank beer, smoked marijuana, and might have taken painkillers for a migraine headache before the killings. It's hard to know if he planned what he did next, or if it was the result of his rage because of his and Emma's faltering romance, or even if the cocktail of substances pushed him over the edge. Rather than go to trial and risk the death penalty, Richard accepted a plea deal, and almost 1 year later, he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of capital murder and 2 counts of first-degree murder. His defense attorney tried to claim that Richard expressed remorse and that he said he felt bad for what he had done. Yet as he left court, he gave onlookers a sinister, slight smirk, further proving his wickedness. Richard Samuel McCroskey III was given 4 consecutive life sentences, and as part of the plea bargain, he waived his right to an appeal. Since the case never went to trial, a clear motive in the savage murders has never been released. When asked why he had done it by reporters as he was brought back to Farmville, Richard had simply responded,
"How did you do it?"
Jesus told me to do it.
His sister later denied that his response was a sign of psychosis. Instead, she said that this was just his sense of humor and that he was being sarcastic. Several theories exist surrounding a possible motive for the barbaric attacks. The most popular is that Richard was either jealous of the attention Emma was giving other young men, or angry because she rejected him. If this is the case, Melanie and both of Emma's parents had tragically just been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Richard's attack on Emma's parents and her friend Melanie could have been purely due to the fact that they were present in the home, and therefore would be witnesses to what he wanted to do to Emma. It's also possible that he felt humiliated by Melanie too, and maybe by Emma's mother. When Emma decided that she wasn't interested in Richard romantically, maybe he got the cold shoulder from Emma, her mom, and Melanie. Emma's father, on the other hand, may have just literally been in the wrong place at the wrong time. Richard may have crossed a threshold when he succeeded at committing his first 3 murders, so killing one other person, Emma's father, was easier for him. This further supports Richard being a total psychopath, because if, let's say, the murders would have been an impulsive move that occurred because of his anger and obsession with Emma, a crime of passion, and because he was intoxicated, any half-normal person would be devastated and likely wouldn't have killed another person, a 4th person. However, in Richard's case, he didn't mind adding to his murder tally, even after having days to reflect on what he did, and even after spending days in the presence of those lives he ended. I believe this really shows the depths of his psychopathy. Richard could have very likely just have been a ticking time bomb. It's possible that anyone that really triggered his anger and past traumas would have been the victims of murder at his hands. In this case, it was Emma, her parents, and her friend Melanie. Maybe it was only a matter of time, and for the right circumstances to be present, for Richard to finally fully embody that persona of a strong, powerful person. However, Richard reportedly told the cab driver who brought him to the airport that he'd gotten into an argument with Emma after overseeing a text message she received from a guy she met at the festival, saying he loved her and wanted to be with her. This is similar to the rumor about her texting another guy while at the concert. Richard told the cab driver that Emma had become angry with him for invading her privacy, but he claimed that to avoid arguing with her, he waited for her to fall asleep before he left. The cab driver noted that Richard seemed like a nice young man. He was very polite and well-spoken, and he spoke passionately about Emma.
I think that's the scariest part. I understand that he's got whatever it was, APD or whatever, but That's the scariest part. He was so nice, so normal to these cab drivers. Yeah, I think after this one, I think I'm gonna dip for the. I think I'm gonna dip for the night.
Check out these deals of the week
Ah,
at Walgreens.
fucking ad!
Blank. Clickable skip ad button.
Of course, he'd already killed Emma at this point,
Subtitle
2 days earlier. The report by the cab driver reveals some important details about how people with antisocial personality disorder tend to present
antisocial personality
themselves. They can certainly be very polite and well-spoken. It's not surprising that the cab driver's initial impression of Richard was that he seemed like a nice young man. This is likely what happened with Emma. Richard was probably very charismatic during their online interactions. However, once she really interacted with him more closely, she probably realized the unappealing antisocial traits and didn't want to have anything to do with him, thus leading to her rejection of Richard, which then triggered his anger. It makes sense that Richard would speak about his passion for Emma to the cab driver, despite having killed Emma 2 days earlier. Sociopaths who commit murders will often refer to their victims in an affectionate way after having killed them. People with APD take possession over people and things quite frequently due to their sense of entitlement and lack of empathy or consideration for the needs and rights of others. Therefore, the fact that Richard murdered Emma could have been at least partly due to feeling that if he can't have her, no one else can. Or he may have believed that Emma could not exist if she doesn't belong to him. He wanted to get back at Emma for rejecting him. Very little evidence has ever been publicly revealed about what happened during the several days that Richard was alone in the home, with 4 rotting corpses. He didn't move the bodies into Emma's room until after the first time the police showed up at the house for a welfare check, meaning he was living in the home while surrounded by bloody bodies. The self-recorded videos are some of the only pieces of evidence we have that tell us about Richard's state of mind during this time. What we do know is that he took the time to film himself as he contemplated taking his own life.
Alright, I'm making this video because it's in my final minutes of being alive, and to anybody that finds this, I want you to tell my parents I love them deeply. I'm very
this
sorry
one.
for doing this.
Oh, okay. Now we've
to
hit
my
full
brother,
circle.
Sinister, aka Eric, and Emily. I love you guys deeply, and I'm sorry for going this route. I know I said I'd turn myself in, but I'm not gonna do that. I can't do that. I can't pay those consequences. So I gotta do what I gotta do, which is gonna be over there. If you can see that, I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do because I'm sure you guys know what I'm gonna do. I'm really sorry, but it came to this. But I'm gonna get going and do what I gotta do. I'm gonna pay my consequences. So my last words before I go: fuck you to the world. Fuck everybody in it. I can't stand this place. Fuck your God. And no, I'm not a nut rider. But fuck your God. SKR. Wicked Intent. For life. Peace.
Many were quick to blame the horrorcore genre for the mass murder because of the way the music seems to glorify murder.
You can't blame the horrorcore genre for the choices of him. He made the choice. They didn't. No, you can't do that.
But supporters argue that the music is merely a dark fantasy, and only those suffering from mental health issues would carry out such a heinous act. But regardless of his musical preferences, this was a rage-fueled attack against a teacher, pastor, daughter, and friend at the hands of absolute evil. The Farmville community will forever remember and mourn the losses of those 4 innocent lives.
All right.
KKK. Red Circle lives to.
All right, how long have
Graphic platform thing. Graphic platform. Out of frame, putting everything together. Main landmark, clickable studio heading, button GoPro. Clickable horror lip, heading level 1 button, clickable button graphic channel like, button graphic Twitch icon, complementary, chat overlay frame graph, thing. Out of frame, clickable button remove. Button enter full screen, button lock, 1 hour 34 minutes and 14 seconds.
We've been doing it for about an hour and a half. I think that's long enough for the night. The other 2 videos are about hours long each. That would make it 3 hours, and I have work in the morning. I don't mind doing that on a Friday night because I don't have work in the morning, but I got work in the morning. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for enjoying this Halloween special. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And I hope that you all had a wonderful Halloween and have a wonderful November 1st. I will talk to you all later.
Blank. Main landmark clickable complementary. Button default. Button brand folder. Out of list button end stream.